Hello there. Welcome to Yanoya with Doug. I feel like being a goober. I already uploaded a video where I was one, so it's not exactly unusual. But I want to do something specific with this video. This is my little personal carry journal. For those I have not explained what this means to me, I will do so now. So it's special not just because it's this nice leather and it holds a little A5 style journal. It's special because it has these slots for some extra little thingamadings to hide in here. And it's also special especially because the pen holder is on the front. I can't tell you how many times I've been searching for a leather journal holder, refillable like this. But the pen holder is always on the side. And the thing about this journal is it's meant to be pocketable. See, if I'm getting my things right, this is an A5 journal. It's pretty typical. It's like a normal sized notebook, and I've got the pen holder right here. It's holding it on the side. But now if I put this somewhere, this actually extends the width of the journal, and it kind of gets in the way of things. But this is an A6 size. See, they're a lot smaller. And the beautiful thing about this is it's meant to fit into small places, like my back pocket. And if that pen was on the side, it would most assuredly not fit in my back pocket. And because of the placement of it where it is, it does, and it's beautiful. And I'm so thankful for this. I don't mean anything religiously heretical by this, but we can disagree if we want and still love each other as Christians. But there is the reality that God is a personal savior to each and every one of his children. So, that doesn't make him different for each one of us per se, but it means he's going to approach us in a way that is uniquely winsome to us because he's a personally loving God. And so for me, he's gifted me with the ability to write well and speak well and present well. And so I need things like this to help me get my thoughts down. And the portability, the functionality, the practicality of this is so blessed to me. I consider it a grace of God. Like, I walk around with this in my pocket or in my messenger bag or in my backpack, wherever I go with this. And I feel blessed because I know that by the grace of God, I can pull this out at any time and write down something that I need to know, something that I need to remember, something that struck me in a fantastical way. By the grace of God, I'm gifted with the lovely ability to do what Flannery O'Connor called writing to discover what she knows. And I'm an external processor, so it helps me to do this out loud too. Another thing I call this, aside from the grace of God for me, is I always get it mixed up with sanctity, and it's not sanctity. It's a lowercase s sacrament. So the sacraments of God are things like baptism and marriage, or baptism and communion, things like that. But they're capital S, sacraments. There's a lowercase s sacrament. This helps me function in life. It helps me do life, just generally speaking. And for that is a grace to me from God. And for that, it is a blessed, precious thing. It's a sacrament that brings me to God. But today, even though I've spent almost 5 minutes talking about that and introing it, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and take this pen. It's a little pocket pen. It's got some wear damage. I've loved it gently. But this particular pen, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the label there. It is, there it is. Oh my goodness, it focused. It's a Hong Dion M2. it's a pocket pen, and it's got these lovely. Oh, come on now! Stop this! Stop this! Stop! Yeesh. Manual control mode. Here we go. It's got this symbolism of I don't know if you can tell, but they're basically two cats. Two cats on the lid, on the finial there. It's got a lovely spring clip that does spring, and it has a nice good tension to it. And it's just a short screw off. And what I'm going to do today with this pen is, I do believe I've used plenty of ink in it, I think. So I'm going to try and load it up in front of you here. I need a towel to help me make sure I keep myself dry here. Ink free. Here we go. As you see, you take the lid off, set that aside, and you take the pen and you unscrew it. I mean, you screw it clockwise. No, you screw it counterclockwise to get it off. And when you do that, you pull the top off. Ah, yeah. See, I've used about half of this already. And because this is a small pocket pen, you'd only get about 6 or 7, maybe 10 pages the way I use them. But I don't know if this will be visible here. But I forget what... if it'll show it. I forget what these things are called. Right here. But these things right here are, I don't know precisely what their exact origin or meaning is, but the way I think of it is, the ink comes through these little thin things down to the tip here. And so I think they act as a kind of a storage device for the ink, so that it doesn't go anywhere and everywhere, and it can kind of stay in place in a structured way when it comes down. But anyway, you see that this is half full. What I'm going to do, I don't know if I can get on camera here, but you see those little sections there? Can't get this right. I want you to be able to see through them, and I don't know if I'm going to get that to happen. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the knob, if I can get it back where I want it here. If the camera will stop trying to autofocus. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to turn this so you see the ink coming through that section. Push it down through there. The camera is freaking out. We'll see here. Oh. Filling up. See that? It's filled now. Yeah, you see the shine there. Yep. Now that I've done that, you see that there's even less ink in the converter, which means I'm going to fill it up, puppy. So this particular pen, I've been using an ink by the BPC, I call it, Birmingham Pen Company. Now this ink right here, it's called Locomotive, and I like Locomotive particularly because it is definitively a black ink. It goes down strictly black, but when it dries, it's a little gray, like a little sooty colored gray. And in case you didn't notice, my pen happens to be gray, so I love that. It's black, but it's gray. I really do like that kind of paradoxical, like kind of cohesive juxtaposition, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I'm going to fill it up. For starters, what I always like to do, because I have a nice table that I've got this on. I don't know if I can get this to go down very well, but let's back it up a bit. Here we go. Not a bad table, right? So I got a piece of paper here. I'm going to fold it up, make it a little thicker. And I'm doing this because you never want to have an incident, but you never say never. You might have one when you don't want one. And if this thing leaks at all, hopefully it'll just go on this paper here. All right? Now, I leaked a bit. So let's get this here. I'm going to get the ink lid off here. One of the things you have to understand about pens, fountain pens especially, is if you enjoy them and you're going to want to be with them, you're going to want to use them, you're going to have to suffer through some inky hands. It's going to happen quite a lot. But for something you love, I think this is a small price to pay. So I've got this pretty well where I need it. So back down here we go. Now, it's pretty simple to ink up a pen. For starters, I've used this before. I always like to take a cloth and wipe the top because inks have a tendency to come out. See? The lid left residue there. And I don't want to have an incident, so I try to be as tactile and physical with things as possible. And I don't want to put the pen in there without touching the bottle, because that means the bottle could tip over easy, and this was a $20 bottle of ink. I don't need to spill it, and I don't need to mess. Neither do you. So once you've got this set up the way it needs to be, you want to take it by the section here, and you want to gently stick it in there, in the bottle. Now, for reference sake, every pen has, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, there's a little hole up here on the actual, I don't know if you can kind of see it there in the light. Hey, it's really bad. I don't know if this is going to focus. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, there's a hole in the pen, and the idea to fill a pen like this is you need to have the whole nib submersed in the ink. So you want to get it down there far enough that it's going to be in the ink, and you just hold it there. You'll take your other hand, and I rest it on the jar, which is why I wiped it, because now the jar is secure. It's not going to tip over unless I'm stupid. So you turned it clockwise to get the ink to come out of the nib. You're going to turn it counterclockwise to suck up the ink. Well, wrong. You're going to turn it clockwise to suck up the ink. And all you do is take the piston converter that I've got in my hands here. This is a turner that takes the converter, and see there? I sucked up the ink. It's filled with ink, and it wasn't before. Now, unlike we would like it to be, to get the most ink in these things, you need to do it a few times, because something about the science of it makes it so that it doesn't really fill up as completely as it could the first time. So you want to give it I like 3 or 4 different kind of turn backs and forths to the end, and then you can call it good. One thing I like to do after I take it out is, because this nib will be very wet with ink, you want to take the bottle and just run the edge of the nib on the side of the bottle, because what happens is ink will come out and go down. And if you want to have a pen that's going to bleed everywhere, if you don't do that, that's, of course, your prerogative, but I don't. So I like to do what I've been told is kind of like burping the pen. Then, of course, I wipe the top back off again of the bottle. You always want to make sure you put the lid back on as soon as you can, because, you know, never say never. You don't want to have an incident, but you'll have it. Trust me, if you aren't careful. Anyway, there's that. Now, of course, because you've just dipped this in ink, it's got ink on the edges. You got to clean that baby off. You always want to have some kind of napkin or some kind of Kleenex laying around. And if you want to get particular, there's still ink on there, but it's dry. I just give the napkin a little bit of spittle here, and that helps moisten that ink back up, because pretty much all ink in all fountain pens is water soluble unless you buy special ink that is labeled as not. So now it's filled with ink. I've cleaned the nib, and you just got to put it back together like so. Screw it on, and you've got yourself a full fountain pen of ink. You probably won't be able to read that because it's probably backwards. But thank you for watching.